Most of us are in a stage of life where we're making major decisions about careers, relationships, and our overall life direction. With this sense of agency comes a pressure that can turn into stress or even dissatisfaction if we're not careful. In this video, we'll explore 10 life lessons, and I will also share one of my favorite quotes from Sadhguru, one that I live by. Let's look deeper. The stress trap. In the words of Sadhguru, you earn a living to live well, not to kill yourself with stress. Let's face it, we live in a world that glorifies overwork and constant hustle. We push ourselves to the limit, believing that more work equals more success and more fulfillment. But what happens? We end up stressed, burnt out, and our health suffers. We lose touch with our families and friends. The joy of living starts to dim. Sadhguru's words hit hard because they're the reality so many of us face. Yes, we need to work, but work should be a means to a joyful life, not a way to destroy it. We need to change our approach, prioritize our well-being, and find work that aligns with our passions. We feel that constant pressure at work to produce more, the deadlines that never seem to end. Coming home, instead of relaxing with our loved ones, we carry the anxieties of work with us, snapping at small things. This stress seeps into other aspects of our lives. Maybe we find it hard to sleep, our health takes a turn for the worse, or we feel increasingly disconnected from the things that used to bring us joy. It doesn't have to be this way. We need to escape the stress trap. That means setting boundaries, saying no sometimes, and learning to prioritize activities that recharge us. It also means finding work that fuels us, and that makes us excited to get out of bed. When we work with joy rather than relentless pressure, true productivity and success naturally follow. Beyond words. Sadhguru says, the best thing you can do for your children is to ensure they never witness anger, fear, or conflict at home. Let them grow up in an atmosphere of joy and love. When we think of the legacy we leave our children, it's easy to get caught up in material things, a good education, and financial stability. But Sadhguru reminds us that the most precious gift we can offer them lies beyond these things. It's the gift of a home filled with joy, love, and a sense of security. Children are incredibly perceptive. They absorb the energy that surrounds them. A home marked by anger, fear, or constant arguments leaves an imprint on their young minds. It affects their sense of safety, their emotional development, and how they view the world. But imagine a home where love is the guiding force, where disagreements are settled with respect, and where challenges are faced with a sense of unity. Such a home nurtures confidence, resilience, and a deep capacity for joy. Many child development experts echo this sentiment. The science is clear. Positive emotional environments in childhood lay the foundation for success, well-being, and healthy relationships throughout life. Maybe you grew up in a chaotic environment yourself, and you're determined to break the cycle. Or perhaps you look around and see how stress and conflict from work spill over into your family life. It takes conscious effort, but it's possible to transform our homes into sanctuaries of love. The most powerful lessons aren't the ones we preach, but the ones we live. When we prioritize joy and love in our homes, we give our children the tools to build a happy, fulfilling future. Isn't that the greatest gift of all? The ripple effect of anger. According to Sadhguru, you do not like it when anger is directed at you. Then what makes you think it is a solution to direct anger at others? This reminds me of something the author and speaker Brené Brown talks about a lot, the power of empathy. When we take a moment to put ourselves in someone else's shoes, to really consider what it's like to be yelled at, criticized, or blamed, that changes our perspective. We create distance between our emotions and our actions. Think about the last time you got really angry with someone. Maybe it was a family member, a partner, or a colleague at work. Now rewind the tape. Honestly, did lashing out with anger make the situation better? Most of the time we realize it doesn't. It just makes everyone feel worse. So much of our day-to-day life is made up of reactions to emails, traffic, and even the weather. How often do we stop and ask, how do I actually want to feel right now? How can I make choices that lead me to that feeling? This is where our real power lies. The work that is life itself. Sadhguru teaches us, if your work is about creating something that you truly care for, There is no need to balance work and life. Life is work and work is life. This idea echoes a popular concept, the Japanese word ikigai. Ikigai is often described as your reason for being, that place where what you love, what you're good at, what you can get paid for, and what the world needs all intersect. When we talk about work, it's easy to get stuck in the day-to-day grind, to think of it as a necessary evil. Sadhguru challenges us to reframe that mindset. Think of your work not as a chore, but as an extension of who you are. Is it possible that our work doesn't have to feel like it drains us? Instead, it can nourish and fulfill us? Sadhguru suggests that when we align our work with what we really care for, we find a natural sense of flow. The line between work and life blurs. Imagine two people doing the same job. Let's say they're both website designers. One person views it as merely a way to make money. They might be good at it, but they find it draining, always counting the minutes until the weekend. The other designer, however, sees their work as a form of creative expression. They're constantly learning and finding joy in solving problems for their clients. This designer might work long hours, technically, but the sense of work as a negative thing doesn't really apply. Their work energizes them. How do we move towards work that produces this sense of flow? Here are some key steps. 1. Self-awareness. What do you care about? What makes you feel curious and excited? What activities make you lose track of time? Understanding your interests and passions helps you identify work that aligns with them. 2. Experiment. Don't be afraid to try different jobs or career paths. Or if the situation won't allow, try finding a spare time to explore that which you really want. Experiencing different kinds of work helps you discover what you find stimulating. 3. Build your skills. The more proficient you become, the more challenges you'll find fulfilling and enjoyable. Watch free courses on YouTube, volunteer, or learn from mentors to enhance your skills. Let's remember, work will occupy a significant portion of our lives. Rather than resenting it, can we find ways to use our work as a vehicle for growth? Unconscious creators. Sadhguru tells us nothing is predetermined, not even death. Everything has been created by you, though mostly unconsciously. Have you ever felt like your life is just happening to you, like you're drifting along on autopilot? Sadhguru's words fundamentally challenge and contradict that idea. He challenges us to consider that, while we may not always be aware of it, we constantly shape our experiences through choices, large and small. In our fast-paced world, we are bombarded by distractions. Social media, news alerts, endless to-do lists. We can become so reactive to external forces that it feels like we're losing our grip on who we are and what we truly want. How can we start to move from unconscious to conscious creation? 1. Observation. Let's become observers of our own thoughts, emotions, and reactions. Let's pay attention to recurrent patterns in our lives. Do we always tend towards certain types of relationships or situations? Notice without judgment, just observe. 2. Space for choice. Before reacting in our default way, let's pause. Even a small pause creates some space between a trigger and our response. This is where the possibility of conscious choice enters. 3. Questioning. Let's not just accept thoughts as truth. Let's ask ourselves, can we choose a different thought or action? Beyond desire. As Sadhguru taught, you reach somewhere not because you desire it, but because you do the right things and earn the capability. We often get lost in chasing goals and outcomes. We want a better job, a bigger house, and a more fulfilling relationship. Our desires consume us. But maybe there's a better way. Instead of being fixated on a specific destination, let's focus on who we are. Sadhguru reminds us that it's not about yearning for a specific place or thing. The key is to develop ourselves and our capabilities. When we consistently take the right actions, both big and small, we build the skills and qualities that naturally propel us forward. This idea echoes something the renowned author James Clear talks about in his book Atomic Habits. He emphasizes building systems rather than obsessing over specific goals. The system could be exercising for 30 minutes a day, showing up to your job with enthusiasm, or dedicating time to nurture your friendships. When you focus on the system, not the end result, progress flows more smoothly. Imagine two people who want to start their own business. One person gets caught up in visions of wealth and power, and the other gets excited about consistently building his skills and networks. He spends time learning new things, connecting with others in his field, and putting in the work. Who do you think has a better shot at success? This wisdom is something we can apply immediately. Let's choose a small yet impactful action we can take in our daily lives. Maybe that's committing to practicing meditation for 10 minutes or setting aside time for something that brings us joy. Let's honestly ask ourselves, how often do we get caught up in desiring a specific outcome and become frustrated or unhappy when things don't go perfectly according to plan? This isn't about suppressing our dreams, but as Sadhguru taught us, it's about releasing the attachment to the result and shifting our focus to the process. Beyond talk. In the words of Sadhguru, if we do not work for individual transformation, talking about world peace is just entertainment. We talk a big game about a peaceful world. We join movements, attend conferences, and express heartfelt wishes, but what about the peace within ourselves? Can we truly bring about worldwide harmony if we are a swirling mass of anxieties, frustrations, and inner conflicts? Sadhguru urges us to look deeper. True peace begins within. Our focus shouldn't only be on external changes. We need to prioritize working on ourselves, managing our minds, finding inner stillness. Imagine it this way. If every person were at war within themselves, how could we ever create a truly peaceful world? Let's not be fooled into thinking endless discussions about world peace are enough. It's like watching a movie about conflict and expecting everything to change magically. Engaging perhaps, but it doesn't address the root of the problem. You wake up late, nerves already in a state of exhaustion. A stressful work project looms over you. Throughout the day, little things set you off. Traffic jams, slow computers, and that one coworker who always seems to irritate you. By the time you get home, you're ready to explode, snapping at your family or retreating into yourself. Does this sound familiar? The world won't change if we don't change. We need to take responsibility for our own minds and emotions. When we find that inner peace, an interesting thing happens. Sadhguru also says, if we cannot keep our minds peaceful, how can the world be peaceful? The world outside is a reflection of the human mind. Inner peace has a ripple effect. When we manage our own minds, we're not just helping ourselves, we are creating the foundation for a truly better world. Beyond reaction. Sadhguru says, if someone is nasty to you, first try love. If that does not work, compassion. If that does not work, distance. This approach mirrors a popular philosophy from the self-help world. Think of the phrase, hurt people hurt people. It serves as a reminder that people who have experienced pain, trauma, or harm are more likely to bring it to others. When life throws negativity our way, it's easy to fall into the trap of reacting with anger, hurt, or defensiveness. We let that initial sting lead us down a harmful path. Sadhguru's wisdom offers a different perspective. He suggests we lead with love and understanding. Put simply, disarm difficult people with kindness. Can we find that place of openness where their harsh words don't wound us? If even love fails to shift the situation, we switch to compassion. We recognize that those who lash out often do so from a place of their own internal struggles. Finally, if these struggles don't change the situation, the quote reminds us of the importance of distance. Our peace of mind matters just as much. We cannot allow someone's toxicity to become our burden. Life in this age is fast-paced. We're bombarded with negativity in the news, on social media, and even in our daily interactions. It would be easy to become constantly reactive, letting everyone else's storms dictate our weather. But remember, we have a choice. Distance. We don't have to let the actions of others define our emotions. The emptiness of abundance. Sadhguru teaches us, a life of excess is not a good life. Excess of anything leads to perversion and depression. Imagine someone who works tirelessly to obtain their dream car. They finally find the perfect model, but as the weeks and months pass, the initial excitement fades. They may even begin to notice new vehicles they desire, fueling a cycle of discontent. Had they cultivated gratitude for the car they have, their experience could have been entirely different. In line with one of my favorite quotes from Sadhguru, we live in a world that constantly pushes us to believe that happiness and fulfillment lie in the pursuit of more. More possessions, more experiences, more status, the list goes on. We are programmed to believe that having more of everything will make us whole, but this endless desire often leads us down a path of disappointment. The thrill of acquiring something new is short-lived. What once brought us joy begins to lose its shine the longer we possess it. We become trapped in a never-ending cycle of chasing the next shiny object, always searching for that elusive feeling of lasting contentment. This constant pursuit of excess warps our perception. We begin to take for granted what we already have and lose the ability to appreciate the simple things in life. Our relationships, health, and personal experiences are reduced to mere stepping stones toward our relentless pursuit of more. How can we escape this trap? Firstly, by cultivating presence. Instead of constantly yearning for what lies ahead, we must learn to appreciate the here and now. When we focus on the present, we realize that true fulfillment lies not in having more, but in being more. Secondly, mindfulness is key. Notice the short-lived nature of the joy that comes from acquiring something new. Use this awareness as a tool to loosen the grip that excess has on us. Finally, replace the desire for more with the pursuit of experiences that bring lasting value. Invest in personal growth, nurture relationships that uplift you, and explore interests that ignite your passions. Let us ask ourselves, where is the pursuit of more leading us? Are we mistaking the accumulation of things for true satisfaction? Let's take a moment to reflect. This simple act of self-inquiry can spark a shift and guide us toward a life of authentic contentment. The dynamic life. According to Sadhguru, when you say, "My life is my karma," you are saying, "My life is my making." This is the most dynamic way to exist. Think of your life as a garden. You are the gardener. It's up to you to clear the weeds, water the seeds, and nurture the growth you desire. According to Sadhguru, despite the popular belief that karma is some kind of punishment, it's actually a tool for transformation. When we take ownership of our lives as our making, we shift from feelings like victims of circumstances and start seeing ourselves as creators. It's easy to blame our situations, relationships, or past experiences for how things are. However, Sadhguru taught us that our choices in this very moment are shaping our future. Imagine you're facing a setback in your career. Maybe you didn't get the promotion you were hoping for, or a project you poured your heart into failed. There are two ways you can approach this. 1. The victim mindset. You can blame your boss, your coworkers, or just plain bad luck. This might feel justified in the moment, but it robs you of your power. It leaves you feeling helpless and stuck. 2. The ownership mindset. You can analyze the situation with honesty. Did you put in your best effort? Could you have communicated better? Is there something new you need to learn? This path empowers you to improve and sets you up for future success. We experience moments like these all the time, in every aspect of life. The true test lies in how we choose to respond. The choice is always ours. Sadhguru tells us that every reaction has consequences that echo into our future. So what's happening within us is entirely our making. I'll leave you with one insightful line I read in Sadhguru's book, Karma. It says, "Karma is about becoming the source of one's own creation. In shifting responsibility from heaven to oneself, one becomes the very maker of one's destiny." All right, friends. If you want more Sadhguru's wisdom, we have a playlist right here. This has been the Wisdom of Sages, and remember, the journey of seeking wisdom is never ending.